Uh, Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to, might be a bit hard to do this actually, talk about a very important person in the Penrith community, simply known by many as Hobbsy or Chris Hobbs, a teacher at St Dominic's College. Thought I'd do a little bit better than this, but I haven't even got 15 seconds in. So this guy is an absolute legend in this community, a teacher at the School of St Dominic's, which obviously I was a student at. In fact, when I first came here, I was surprised to find as I walked into this esteemed chamber as a graduate of this school from Kingswood, that with all of the private schools that have turned out politicians, that it was this Christian Brothers school at Kingswood that had the most number of students sitting in this chamber. Chris Hobbs was such an important part of the story of Penrith. The phrase legend or icon would not be used lightly when talking about this man. In fact, I doubt there is a person that has been through the Penrith community that has touched the lives of more young men in a positive way than this human being. He was a larger-than-life character in so many ways, both in physical stature as well as the size of his heart. He was a hard man, perhaps created in the old school ways of the Christian Brothers education. An absolute genius teacher, taught you lessons when you weren't even realising that you were learning something. He was formally recognised with a Teaching Excellence Award in 1996. His time at St Dominic's actually started as a student, where perhaps his adult shape and size did not befit the fact that he was once the captain of the school athletics and swimming teams. He was a passionate supporter of rugby league, and beyond his teaching, his ongoing support of the Brothers Rugby League Club was a way in which he continued to demonstrate his commitment and support of young people across the Penrith community. He was very much a mentor, and there is no doubt that there are many a young man wandering across Western Sydney today who would not be the people that they are without the impact and influence of Chris Hobbs in their life. He was known for dishing out some fairly fearsome punishments. A strap from Hobbsy was a strap well felt. One of the best, 6 of the best, whatever the number was, you probably wanted it over pretty quick, and you felt it for a long time afterwards. But he also had some other interesting ways of making sure you learned some lessons in life. In fact, I have a very close mate, a school friend of mine, who we still affectionately call Koala to this very day, because one of Chris's favourite punishments was making students hug the gum tree outside his office for the whole lunchtime. If there was a cigarette butt or 100 cigarette butts in some corner of the St Dominic's College campus, Hobbsy knew exactly where they were, and he knew where to send you to make up for the time when you'd done something wrong. A genuinely amazing human being. You only have to look across some of the posts that are now making their way across social media to get some idea of the impact that this individual had on so many people. But one lesson or one moment in my time at St Dominic's that I remember so very well was at a year meeting in one of our halls on a Monday, where one student, couldn't even tell you who it was, Hobbsy wouldn't want me to anyhow, broke ranks and started to talk when he wasn't supposed to, and Hobbsy asked the whole year group to out this student. And none of us broke ranks. None of us wanted to out the student. And he brought us back lunchtime after lunchtime for an entire week. And not once did one of those students waver or rat on his mates. And I think for the first time I'd seen him beaten by a cohort of students. But then in a very rare moment I noticed that we hadn't beaten him at all. We just learnt the lesson he was trying to teach us. Hobbsy, you're an amazing teacher, an amazing mentor, a wonderful human being, a person who most exemplifies all of the values that St Dominic's College tries to instil in the young men that are educated in that institution. I know that I would not be in this place as a representative of the Penrith community without your education and your mentorship. I know there are many other successful people right around Western Sydney because of that. We will always miss you, but you'll never ever be out of our life. You really were a light for all of us. Dominus Lux Mea.